Welcome to this edition of Falcon Flashback as we take you back to May 5th of 2017 and relive a Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference tournament matchup between the Falcons and Augsburg. All as we count down to what we hope will be a return to Falcon sports before not too long. And Matt Metz will be joined by the women's lacrosse head coach, Emily Schesto. And kind of unique because you go back to 2017 and Sam Schesto, your assistant at the time, was the acting head coach, at least for the majority of the season, as you missed some time on maternity leave. You came back for the tournament. What are some of the challenges, kind of being away and then stepping right back in and kind of taking over the reins?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing with that is figuring out where you need to be at what time. Just because where we were with our family and having just had a child, obviously it was very important to be home on maternity leave with my son when he was born. But then really feeling that I was missing out on the season and missing the team and missing what they were going through. But I was excited to be able to come back for the tournament. I knew Sam was doing a great job, and we wanted to make sure that the team felt that that transition was natural and didn't throw them off in any sense. So I came back for a couple practices right before the tournament, let them know that my role was mostly going to be there as a supportive role, as an assistant coach type role, and that they were to continue thinking of Sam as their head coach because that's what she had been doing such a great job at all season, and to continue following her lead on things.
No question, you had more important things going on at home, but even being a kind of, a couple of steps back and not maybe on campus per se, were you constantly following the scores, the
Oh,
stats,
yeah.
the video? Were you talking with Sam on a regular basis?
Yeah, I was definitely following their stats and watching video when I was able and watching the live games when I could on my computer at home and communicating with Sam and kind of figuring out how things were going with the season as much as I could. And I was definitely following along and very invested in the season still at the same time.
And the way things panned out in 2017, the Falcons had just played Augsburg a week before and lost a heartbreaker, 16-15 in overtime. I bring it up because a remarkable stretch came to a close with that loss, 28 straight conference wins for the Falcons. I got to believe, and maybe you can shed some light, was the team excited to get an opportunity now a week later to get a second chance at Augsburg to kind of say, hey, that's a fluke. We can take care of business? Was there kind of that we want to prove something mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. They were ready to go, and I think we knew that that streak was going to end eventually, and we had a target on our backs for a couple years at that point, and all the teams around us were getting stronger and stronger, and we knew that it was only going to be a matter of time. But when you get to that point, when you have those strong teams around you, you know that beating them twice in a season is going to be rare as well. So we would have rather lost to them in regular season and had the chance to get them in playoffs. So they were excited, they were ready to go, and they put their heart into that game for sure.
Yeah, what is that like? You coach at a team where, you really can't afford to have an off day because you're getting everybody's best on a constant basis. Is that challenging to keep everybody up and motivated, or?
Yeah, I think that they did that really themselves. They had that in themselves where they held each other accountable, and if someone was having an off day, if they weren't feeling it, somebody else would pick up the slack and somebody else would make sure that they were getting the team where they needed to be. And I think having that culture and having those players that can read each other and know when to step up really helps.
Look at that 2017 squad, and among others on the field, you had Lauren Paquin, Ellie Woodman, Caitlin Henry, Allison Couric, Kristen Kennedy. There's a lot of talent on the field. Just, I guess, listing some of those names, when you hear them, what are some of the memories or some of the thoughts that go through your mind?
I just think of gamers. They all had that drive when they stepped on the field to do whatever it took to win. And so many of those players that you just mentioned were the type of player that could take a game in their hands and turn it around for the whole team. So the rest of our team could have been had an off day, and then one of those kids could just step up and have the game of their lives, and it would motivate the rest of the team to step up as well. So
you had a great goalkeeper in Veronica Medinova. What made her so effective in her time as a Falcon?
I think it was just her athleticism, her drive to be successful. She was hard on herself, but it was because she wanted to win. She wanted to be successful, and she wanted to do it for the team. So she really had that team-mindedness, and she really did what she did for that group of players.
2015 through 2017, the Falcons, 3 regular season championships, a couple of conference tournament titles. When you look back at that 3-year span, what was it about those teams? Why were you guys able to become so dominant?
It was the players. It was definitely the drive. It was the culture. It was, like I just said, it was one person being able to step up, whoever it was that day, being able to step up and just determine how that game was going to go. And they just wanted to win. They wanted to win every game. They wanted to have fun, and they had a really good balance of the two of those things.
All right, let's take it back to May 5th, 2017. We're at Fitting Field, a Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. It's the Falcons against Augsburg, second time in a week. Getting ready for the opening draw. Allison Kirk for the Falcons. For the Augies, they will counter with Rachel France, who was named an all-conference honorable mention yesterday, again among the 4 Augies honored by the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference. Kirk comes in. She is currently among the who's who in draw control victories, a total of 63, 5th best in the conference. France coming in with 21 draw control victories of her own. And so we were underway in this tournament semifinal. Revenge on the mind of the Falcons. Augie looking to make it upset special for a second consecutive Friday, as Caitlin Henry with the scoop up for Concordia, and they will find their way toward their attacking end. An attack that's been paced so far by a number of different threats, although at least stat-wise it's been Caitlin Henry who's been able to lead the way with a total of 37 goals on the campaign. So the Falcons here on the south end of the field, patient start to their approach with an 11.24 goals per game average. With the pass, trying to find Couric. Played off the short hop instead, though, by Christina Pattengale back in that Concordia lineup. She's played now the last 3 games after missing 2 in a row. The sophomore by way of Portage, Michigan. Nicole DeMayo, one of the impact freshmen for the Falcons. Here's Lauren Paquin. Back up high with Couric on this left wing. Goes back beyond the south goal. Crisscrossing with DeMayo. Over the right shoulder pass. Connecting here with Kristen Kennedy. Kennedy coming off a fine showing. 3 goals, couple of assists. 5 points the last time these teams hooked up. Back up high. Looking over the middle is Emily Kuhlman. Kuhlman playing in the tournament for the first time after she was injured last year. Paquin making her cut and drawing some contact here off the whistle against the Augies, resulting in a left wing opportunity here for Paquin. Lauren Paquin, a career best of 5 draw control victories last time these teams hooked up, and that was a game that would see her come out and score 4 times, take 11 shots, 7 of which were on target. Goes low with a shot attempt that was knocked away, and the recovery here for the Augies. Right at the feet of Gilliu, who now gets the pass back her direction. Nice find for the Augies after that ball deflected up toward Michaela Knudsen. Now the Augies trying to find clearance. Look at some of their numbers so far this season. They found themselves dead last when it comes to clearance in the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference. They came in at 255 for 360. We're now having a tough time just trying to get to that midfield stripe. Great pressure being applied as the flip goes back the direction of Christina Nelson. Been a mainstay part of that defense. But an all-conference honor each the last now couple of years. Nelson now to the attack for the Augies. A low pass and just missed on the hookup with Helena Wynn as the ball sent out of play beyond the far sideline of the Falcons. Will take over on the Augsburg turnover. 27:40 to go here in the first half of play. We have no score between Augsburg College and Concordia here in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Seeing the Falcons with an opportunity with Lauren Paquin getting the real first quality opportunity for the Falcons. But then the Augies turning it over, the Falcons giving it right back. And for Augsburg, pass going up high into the hands of Rachel France. Able to feed it back, and on the attack that involves Desiree Saraki, a senior part of the attack out of Wyoming, Minnesota. Mentioned though, Wynn, same thing along with Delaney Everett, sporting jersey 21. The 2 top threats both coming in with a team best 40 goals on the campaign. Pass up high to Michaela Jones. Leaving it back atop the fan, here is the aforementioned Delaney Everett, named the first team all-conference honoree yesterday. As the Augies get played from behind and found ways to stick with it, overcoming the adversity, some of the obstacles of last Friday. Looking to get off to a better start this time through, and the possession will stay here with Izzy Snow. And able to come back from a deficit as large as 4. A lot of momentum down the stretch, scoring 6 of the previous and final 7 goals of that game. And it's the Augies striking first in this game. It's Izzy Snow once again, picking up where she left off the last time these teams hooked up. And she scores her 38th goal of the year. So she had the game-winning overtime free position shot and goal in the regular season finale for the Augies last Friday, and she comes out here and scores the first of this game, and it comes with 26:39 left in this first half. So Izzy Snow scoring her 38th of the year. That's up from 16 a year ago, and again, only a sophomore status. Has now scored goals in 15 of the 17 games she's been involved in. That's got to feel good if you're the Augies to come out here and be the first to score, offset the first Concordia attack. As again, they try to pick up where they left off with a week's off from game action. France and Kirk lock sticks on the draw. This ball is flung onto the right side of midfield. Kirk knocked it up in the air, but it's going to be controlled by the Augies. Nice find for Michaela Jones. Jones on the run will feed it. Wynn looking to cut back in, goes high, and Medinova able to come through with the save as she is able to stand her ground. Helena Wynn moved in, but Veronica Medinova with a beauty of a save to keep it a one-goal deficit. Now the Falcons on the move. Pass coming to your side with Kennedy. Under her stick, it's going to be an easy takeaway for Augsburg. Off the scoop by Michaela Knudsen. The Falcons now with a turnover, now looking downfield. Nearly picked off, and it will be. Patton Gaylor will see it coming from a mile away, batted it down, found it, got knocked down, and a foul here that's going to go against the Augies. As Gilliu was quickly scrambling back into positioning. But she launched it downfield. It was picked off. Patton Gale saw it coming as she made the move from behind to bat it and play it. Now an opportunity here for Christina Pattengale, a sophomore from Portage, Michigan. Low with a shot, and again redirected here by Gilliu. Beyond the end line of the Falcons will keep it here with Kennedy. So a couple of opportunities for Paquin and now with Pattengale. And both coming up just short. Paquin on the cut. This one will fly back near the restraining line. Is going to be tracked down by Kuhlman. Emily Kuhlman has come so far this freshman campaign, has come out here and has produced 25 goals and 5 assists on the campaign. Taking 73 shots, 46 of which are on target. And the Falcons, speaking of being on target, able to answer and tie this game up at 1. That comes with 25-25 left in this first half. So the Falcons get the response with Caitlin Henry. And they give the assist to Emily Kuhlman, who picks up her 6th helper. We were just talking about the impact she has had after she was missed and lost last year because of injury. Did not get the opportunity, at least from a playing standpoint, to be on the field. Saw it from the sidelines last year in street clothes for Concordia, while now coming through with a helper. Caitlin Henry scoring her 38th goal of the year. She had a streak of 5 consecutive multi-goal performances snapped with that 22-2 loss against Colorado College on Sunday. And one of the who's who in the West region. Now the Falcons able to win this draw. Lead feed again will fly under the stick of Nicole DeMayo downfield. Now played by Gilliu to the sideline, getting tracked down, chased by Kennedy. On the restart for the Augies, Kennedy gets moved back in a game that is knotted up at 1 with nearly 5 minutes gone by here in the first half. Knudsen played off op, cutting in does Nelson. Nelson will loft it ahead. Wynn had it knocked free. Backup though provided by way of Desiree Saraki. Back to Wynn. Trying to launch it across, connected with a low pass to Everett. Nice adjustment made by Delaney. Down the middle with Michaela Jones. Trying to force her way through. This Augies team does a great job forcing their way through, but drawing some contact and being awarded free position opportunities. They come in with the most makes, but also the most attempts, and the most attempts by 7. 7 plus over Loris, who's not even part of this event. Did not qualify for the tournament, but they've taken 13 free position shots, where the Augies have taken 120. So it's a team that's been able to score. They put the pressure on the defense, and at times they've forced the defense to be overly aggressive in their attempts to slow down this Augie attack, and it's resulted in Augsburg getting their fair share of free position opportunities. On the turnover, the Falcons on the move with 23:55 to go here in the first half. Ended up at 1 goal apiece. Knocked out of the possession of Jenny Rodenga. So a couple of turnovers early against the Falcons. And when these two teams met last Friday, the turnover stat, 27-24 Augies plus 3. And the Augies turn it over here. Paquin lead feed. Turn. Gilliu on the save. Able to redirect the shot again as she was standing way out of positioning. At least out of that crease area. She was playing out high, trying to slow down the attack as Paquin got the lead feed. And the attempt there denied for Kennedy. Boy, a gutsy stance there by Gilliu after she was playing out. Left that whole backside wide open. And yet able to do what she needed to deny Kennedy the Falcons' second goal off the lead feed that came by way of Paquin following an Augies turnover. 23:08 to go here in the first half. Off the restart, Concordia taking right back over off another Augies turnover. Kennedy looks to her left as she will jog back toward the south goal area. Coming back that direction will be Lauren Paquin as well. Paquin, she was named a first-team All-Conference honoree for a second consecutive year after she was also the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Newcomer of the Year last spring. So a high hit off the dislodge attempt by Jesse Husinkveld, the junior from Mound, Minnesota. And the Falcons get the restart. And the pass that goes to Paquin. Going right back into traffic. Pattengale, tough angle. Kirk looking for the rebound. Battling with Gilliu, who finds it, comes up with it, traps it, controls it, and back the other way come the Augies. So the Falcons looking for the cutters, looking to connect on those passes. And Gilliu doing a pretty good job in that time, denying Kirk a rebound possibility. Falcons again come away with a turnover. Knocked away from DeMayo, able to recover off a short hop. DeMayo, great pressure, battling on the sticks. And DeMayo, along with Kuhlman, able to come up with it for Concordia. Kuhlman, as the Falcon attack sets up. Pattengale, back up high with Paquin. Now, Paquin able to score one of the two Falcon goals on Sunday. And as mentioned, she's been a regular, having now scored in 11 consecutive games. DeMayo trying to find the angle, had it blocked. Another fine save. Gilliu coming through with some incredible stops here in the early goings. Playing with a lot of confidence, and rightfully so. And in this Augie team as a whole should be playing with a lot of confidence after what they were able to accomplish, playing from behind pretty much all game long, and stealing a victory here last Friday by virtue of overtime. We mentioned Gilliu in that game had a season best 18 saves. Pattengale on the pass. Kennedy looking for the top side behind the south goal. Has Paquin to her right, and Paquin now in motion. Bunch of moving parts to this attack. Lunging ahead, Gilliu on the save, Kuhlman on the attempt. And now the Augies will look to counter. Looking to build off the momentum that Marissa Gilliu is currently building for Augsburg. Boy, stop after stop and from in close. Off the clearance with Izzy Snow. Had the lone Augies goal. Too many Augsburg turnovers though early as Kurek and the Falcons may give it right back. This one picking up some speed as it rolls toward that west sideline, but Paquin trying to keep it from going out of bounds. Cannot do so. Or can she? Cannot, and it's going to be Augie's control. Win on the restart. Helena Wynn, an all-conference honorable mention this year after she was a second-team all-conference selection last year. Put her name all over the record book for this four-year program. Now she's put together some ridiculous totals, now 40 goals back-to-back campaigns. And counting for that matter. As again, her next goal or the next goal that is scored by Delaney Everett will set the new program record for goals in a single season. We're down to 20 minutes left here in this first half. Now up at one goal apiece. So far it's been Snow for the Augies. It's been Henry for the Falcons. Izzy Snow will flip back her direction. She gets knocked down as she tried to force her way through. This one's going to go against. Well, there's some confusion because at first they pointed the route as though this one was going to be against Snow. Now the two officials will come together after she again tried to force her way through upon getting the behind-the-back flip that came by way of Rachel France. It is going to be, in fact, a foul here that goes against Snow, allowing the restart for Couric. With the clock reading 19:42 left here in the first half. Again, she tried to force her way through, lifted the elbow, trying to create that spacing upon getting the flip that came from Rachel France, the all-conference honorable mention. And so as players get positioned, Couric back along the near sideline, getting pressured to the sideline, able to tiptoe and lost it, able to play it off op, but another whistle is going to go against Izzy Snow. Got a piece of the elbow of Couric. Now gets across midfield back into the attacking end for the Falcons. Knotted up at a goal here in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference tournament semifinal. Kuhlman looking back out. Pattengale found some spacing, but another whistle here is going to go against Concordia. And not sure what the stoppages here, but Caitlin Henry's being sent off. Not sure if there is something with her stick, if she's having a tough time out there with some type of equipment, if she's bleeding, whatever the case may be. She quickly is being replaced in the Concordia lineup. But apparently right now Henry is taking a second to collect herself on the Concordia sideline and having her spot now replaced in the Falcon lineup. And right now the Falcons have brought, let's see, as far as the change goes, it's going to be Erica DeWald who is now out there. Wynn looking for a jump shot, able to score a goal. And with that goal, a new program single season record. 41st goal this season for Wynn, surpassing an old mark of 40 set last year. So a jump shot here involving Helena Wynn. It almost looked like at first they were calling Henry for some sort of interference, but then pointing toward her eye gear as they sent her off the field, having her spot then replaced by Erica DeWald, who typically is a usual in that defensive unit for the Falcons. It resulted in an Augie's possession, able to get downfield, and Helena Wynn able to score. She has scored goals now in 16 of the 17 games she has been involved in the Augies. Back in front for the second time at 2-1. That with 18:33 left here in the first half. So on the draw, Couric try to fling it her direction. Not enough arc. And will lock sticks up once again here with Rachel France. So a do-over here between these two who have been battling in the midfield circle throughout the first part of this first half. And again, Couric able to win that draw, batted it to herself. Looking back along the near side, Paquin Couric battling back along this near sideline. Flip back, Pattengale looking upfield, connecting. On the move now with Rodenga. Rodenga, flip it back. Kennedy, no pressure coming her direction, able to easily scoop it up. Pattengale on the move, although Kennedy elects to maintain possession. Kuhlman, now back along his right wing. Flipping it back, Rodenga on the attack, sets up. DeMayo moving, although she will make her cut. Simply set it back beyond that south goal as the Falcons keep it up high, and Kennedy down the middle. Passing and threw it behind Pattengale. Ball is going to bounce beyond the end line, and a takeover here for Augsburg. They lead by a 2-1 score with 17.5 to go here in the first half. On the restart for the Augies, the flip goes back to Gilliu, who's made, again, tip your cap her direction. Some incredible stops already, keeping this, well, at that time, a 1-1 score. Or before that, even a 1-0 Augies advantage, allowing her team the opportunity with a couple of possessions they've had to now build this 2-1 advantage. Quick pass from Sinkveld. Another Augies turnover. Can the Falcons make the most of this? Kennedy off the completion. 1v1, redirected again by Gilliu. Got a stick on it to deflect it up and out. And now the Augies, they will take back over after the Falcons were able to benefit from a Augsburg turnover. Got it downfield. Kennedy 1v1. Unable to, again, make the most of that shot possibility. Gilliu again with some incredible stops already for Augsburg College. Named a second-team All-Conference honoree a year ago. But is coming off the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Defensive Player of the Week accolades, and we mentioned what she was able to do here last Friday, and only got better as the game went on. Maybe off to a slower beginning, a couple of goals allowed, but then came right back and put her team in a spot to play comeback. How about this for transition lacrosse? DeMayo on the goal. That time, Gilliu a little too aggressive, and it cost her. For everything she's done right so far in this first half, that time she moved up, almost challenging a couple of the Falcon attackers, but the Falcons were able to stay crisp on their passing, got the lead feed to Nicole DeMayo, and next thing you know, DeMayo turns, and she had an open look at the goal as she was side by side, step for step with Marissa Gilliu, who was, again, out of the goal area. She's done it a couple of times, only this time it costs her, and this game is tied at 2 with 15:57 to go in half number 1. So we've been tied now on a couple of occasions here in this first half. France, along with Couric on the draw, put off a hop. Henry on the backup. She's back out there for the Falcons, and Caitlin Henry's been in the right place on a couple of occasions to win a couple of these draws. But the Augies back on this north end of the field. But talk about who's been able to do what. Well, there is Annika Hegrenes, the freshman, by way of Maplewood, Minnesota. On the attack at least for a moment. A couple of different looks, but here's Wynn, who scored the last Augies goal. Trying to find a cutter. In this case, you have France who's making a couple of the runs across the front of that north goal. This one thrown behind Hegrenes, and the Falcons are able to locate it. Passing right back to Veronica Medinova. Medinova allowing some of that pressure to retreat downfield. And now for the Falcons, DeMayo finds Henry across the midfield stripe. Back into the attack for the Falcons. Kuhlman able to score and give the Falcons their first lead of the game. So downfield, Emily Kuhlman able to score her 26th of the season. Falcons have now scored back-to-back. They've taken their first lead here at 3-2 with 14:46 left here in the first half. Good look, and again, it all stems from crisp Falcon passing, able to get that ball downfield. And a timeout being taken here by Catherine Knippenberg. Her team up 1-0, up 2-1, and now we are at a 3-2 score in favor of the hosting Concordia Falcons here in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Again, coming up a little bit later on at 4 o'clock, our second game via the Falcon Athletic Network, as we will see the second-seeded Hamline University Pipers in their first year in the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference here in the tournament, and they will be in action taking on the third-seeded Aurora University Spartans. When you look at some of these matchups on paper and how things could potentially play out, and look at a matchup like this, we have the Augies, again, known for some of their offensive totals, tops again in the conference with 237 goals as a whole. Not as crisp when it comes to their clearance here this season. Dead last at, again, 255 for 360 coming in versus a Falcon team that has been well-rounded. Yet coming off that loss to the Augies a week ago, and you wait and see how things play out. Well, that's a matchup coming up later on today with Hamline and Aurora, where, again, same thing. We have a team like the Pipers who have had the ability to score and scored a pretty good clip, taking on an Aurora team that has had success, obviously, in getting back here to the tournament for a third consecutive year. They've been in the championship game each last now 2 tournaments, but it's also a team that's been involved in when it's a lower scoring game, they tend to have more success. And they have a new freshman goalkeeper who's been outstanding there. Their goalkeeper for the last 2 years now is playing the field. So how does that play out? Is it offense versus defense? We'll have to wait and see. But same thing here where you got maybe contrasting styles and just trying to wait and see how it pans itself out and whose style prevails over the other. Well, here it's tough to get a read as to who has momentum. Certainly right now the Falcons with back-to-back goals to take their first lead, but no one has dominated the other. It's a game that has seen both teams with their moments, and for the Falcons, they've had their shot opportunities, but Gilliu has made a handful of nice saves. So following the Augies timeout, Kirk and France on the draw. Flung back to the north side. Leaping ability shown by Delaney Everett. Everett, the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Although out of the midfield, one of the captains, named a first-team All-Conference honoree. A no-brainer there yesterday when those awards were announced. Coming across does Demi Everett, the freshman attacker from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. And up high, an opportunity developing for Delaney Everett. Free position chance here for the Augies. Coming in 4 of 15 in free position chances this season. Goes lower than attempt. That goes wide. I mentioned the Augies on the campaign. 46 free position goals. That's most. Next most, 37 by Aurora, but then 120 attempts, which is +7 among the rest of the field, at least. Good for about 38.3 for a free position percentage. 14:01 left here in the first half. 3-2, Falcons up a goal in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. The ball about to be scooped up. Falcons have possession. That with Ellie Woodman. Ellie was the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Defensive Player of the Week back on the 10th of April. Had a fine campaign back there defensively. Same thing with the likes of Erica DeWall, Jenny Rondanga, among a number of the impact freshman players that have come on and filled some voids without this team skipping a beat. Pattengale with Kuhlman cutting across into traffic, batted down, and Gilliu able to take it away. So the pass coming over the middle. Gilliu able to reach up there and snatch it, take it away. The cut that was made by Kuhlman. And now Kuhlman putting some pressure on the junior goalkeeper. Low pass. Another bad pass. Off the takeaway. 2-on-1. Gilliu with a save. Denies DeMayo. That's happened a few times now in this first half, hasn't it? As Gilliu able to make up for the bad pass, getting back there and denying the Falcons. Now win with Medanova coming up big. Goalkeeping on display here in this first half. It's 3-2 Falcons with 12:55 to go in this tournament semifinal. So one impressive stop is matched by another. Falcons back on this left side of midfield. Boy, it's just been impressive. Gilliu and now Medanova. One of her couple of saves now in this first half. Kuhlman looks back, now looks to her left. She'll jog back this direction before making the pass and connecting. Coming across the way does DeWald. Right now here in the attack end, Kuhlman turns, shoots, and scores! Emily Kuhlman scores her second of the game. Falcons have now scored 3 straight. They open up a 4-2 advantage after facing a couple of one-goal deficits. 12:19 to go, first half. Kuhlman had some zip on that shot, straight on. And Caitlin Henry will be credited with the assist. So the Falcons score 3 unanswered. Kuhlman now with a total of 27 goals on the campaign. And she has now recorded her 7th multi-goal performance. Came in with 73 shots, 46 of which are on target. And we mentioned that she was out of the lineup all of last year, and what an impact she has been on top of the freshmen that have come on and provided quite the spark in their first collegiate seasons. even though you knew you had Pay Quinn along with Kurg back, but also knowing that teams would focus on those two and try to slow those two down, who would be the next to step up. And there have been plenty of candidates, plenty of players that have been able to fit the bill here for the Falcons. And Kuhlman's just another that has been able to, again, come on and help this balanced attack that has opened up now a 4-2 lead in this semifinal. Pattengale coming across, picked off by Gilliu. Angled back near side. Again, now you have to be careful with your passing as she is able to get this one into the pocket of the stick of Michaela Jones off the hop. On the move by Izzy Snow. Mendenova came out to help out. Back on the backside was Ariana Worthing defensively, the senior from Saginaw, Michigan. And the Falcons have it with 11:26 to go here in the first half, up 4-2, taking away that opportunity for Snow. Fine job both Mendenova in front, but then Ariana Worthing putting the pressure on that backside. Mendenova with Snow coming on. Mentioned she scored the first goal of this game, which is only appropriate because she scored the last goal of the last meeting between these two a week ago. The game went in overtime. The other Augie goal so far has been scored by Wynn, setting the new program record for goals in a single season of 41, surpassing the old mark of 40 set last year. Low shot, Gilliu on the save. Up that far side, he had Kennedy with the attempt. Now she's battling for control. She's able to scoop it up. And the Falcons will set up their attack. Kuhlman, after Kirk looked to set up a screen, Gilliu got tripped up as she was trying to tiptoe around 2 or 3 Augies, all kind of mashed together. So Kuhlman on the whistle, 10.5 to go here in the first half. Trying to enhance this 2-goal lead. She moves in. Her shot again with some zip on it goes wide. To the end line goes Pattengale. Falcons will keep it. Some velocity, though, out of the pocket of the stick for Emily Kuhlman. How she was able to score that last one. Paquin back up top. As the Falcons up this right wing. Makes some moves. Mentioned DeWalt right now, part of this attack. Henry out there as well. Augie's take it away. Zigzagging away out of traffic, Michaela Jones. Jones trying to leave it back for Desiree Siraki. Some miscommunication results in a Kuhlman takeaway. And then contact here is going to go against Siraki. Siraki, who comes in on number 1 on the team in assists with a total of 23, also third best in the conference. But Kuhlman, looking to angle in, has some spacing, has a path. Slowed up here, she will leave it back. Paquin, trying to get a step up, goes higher with a shot and scores! Got to step up on the defense of Michaela Jones. Lauren Paquin scores her 37th goal of the year. She's now been able to score in 12 consecutive games. Falcons respond with 4 unanswered. 9:16 to go here in the first half. Up 5-2. It was the Augies who came out. They were the aggressor early, jumping in front by a 1-0 score and then breaking a 1-1 tie by going up by 2-1. And right now, if you're the Augies, the mindset's got to be, okay, fine, we got to find a way to weather the storm here and realize, obviously, the Falcons have the momentum and find a way to try to offset this current Concordia attack. But you also got to believe, if you're Augsburg, hey, you were just in this situation a week ago. Down 4, in fact, later in the game. Got things to bounce your direction. You just got to find a way, though, to keep this within reason, though, and not let the Falcons pull away. DeMayo, and a dump off by Kuhlman. Gilliu with a save. And then a knock away by Kuhlman, Gilliu, and DeMayo. It's going to be Falcon possession. Gilliu off the trip up. Off the play from behind. Defense has to part ways. An angle here for DeMayo with an open goal. Off the whistle, Gilliu trying to get back into position into the nice job defensively by Christina Nelson. That's why she's a first-team all-conference of the region the last now couple of years. Playing smart, being aggressive, yet being clean and avoiding a whistle, and also allowing Gilliu to get back in between the pipes without a shot being taken. 8.5 to go here in the first half. Coming across as Henry, but Gilliu able to come up with it. And this could be, as of right now, easily a 5-6 goal game if it wasn't for the junior goalkeeper and some of the saves she's made here in this first half. But also with that being said, a couple of costly Augie turnovers as well. Off the bump. The Falcon foul going against Pattengale. Augie's looking upfield off the near connection played by Annika Hegranes. Looking near side. We haven't seen a ton of touches so far for Delaney Everett. We have seen Wynn. She's been effective in this game with a goal and good-looking shot that was stopped by Medanova. Off the flip back. All kinds of moving pieces there for the Augies, but Medanova again able to come up big. So a nice job there for Medanova, taking away the run that included Delaney Everett. For the Falcons, you have Erica DeWald. As we approach 7 minutes left here in this first half, and this the first of two Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinals here by the Falcon Athletic Network. DeWald. DeMayo down the middle. Henry stopped. Again, Gilliu able to come up, stand her ground after Henry, her shot attempt going low. Talked to her in the past about just the mindset when you and how you go about attempting a shot on the opposing goalkeeper. And so often she said one way to do it is to fake high, aim low. In that case, she looked low the entire time, and Gilliu able to come through with the stop. Now Kirk looking to walk it in, but it's off the post. And the rebound for Michaela Jones. And a whistle here is going to go against the Augies, which will halt play with 8. I checked, there was 6:17 to go here in this first half. And they will position Rachel France behind the equation. I've got somebody for offsides in this case for the Augies. Either way, the Falcons will take back over off what's going to ultimately go down as another turnover. And looking to work her way in does DeWald, who's able to draw a whistle here against Augsburg, which will result in the free position chance. That comes with 6 minutes on the dot left here in this first half. It's going to be Erica DeWald. Again, known for her defense, but in this case, she's been on the offensive side. On the attack, and her shot right at Gilliu comes up with the save. Who wants it? Well, France got a piece, got a stick on it. Picked up here by Kennedy. Kennedy had it dislodged from the backside. Scoop attempt here by Desiree Saraki. Ton of whistles here in this first half, with players going every which direction, trying to battle for positioning. And with 5.5 to go, the clock now stopped here in this first half. Falcons lead 5-2. They've scored the last 4 goals in this half, after the Augies had a 1-0 lead and a 2-1 lead once upon a time. And we will see Allison Couric off the restart for the Falcons. Dislodged on the backside. Nelson was there before she nearly got taken down. And a yellow card to be handed out. That's going to go against Pattengale. Well, the Falcons had a yellow card the last time these teams got together. That one against Couric had a yellow card go against them. And Radenga against Colorado College on Sunday down in Rock Island, Illinois. But taking away Nelson's ability to come up with that ball cleanly after she had the sneak attack in the backside to knock it free and cause that turnover. And so they get Pattingale for the slash. Gilliu directing traffic. That's one thing that's been impressive, besides the fact her ability to come up with some big saves. The fact, she's been, and you expect some of your goalkeepers to be leaders, not all are, but she's been real vocal out there, almost like a second coach, and really just trying to get the attack out of the back and quickly get downfield. Well, Snow unable to come up with the pass that came her route from Delaney Everett. But it just seems like, at least the way the Augies run their attack, especially out of the back, everything has to go through Gilliu, and she's not afraid again to make her way up the field. In fact, right now she is just beyond the midfield circle on her side of the field, but she is way up. Could certainly factor, if need be, in the attack. Free position chance here for Snow. 4:44 to go in the first half. And she's able to score. Her second of the game. And for Snow, that's her 39th of the season. It's her 10th multi-goal performance. It's now 5-3 in favor of the Falcons with 4:41 left here in this first half. So Snow able to come through on the free position, finishing low. Snow along with Wynn, the goal scorers so far for the Augies. For the Falcons, Paquin, DeMayo, Henry, and Kuhlman on a couple of occasions have been the Falcon goal scorers. What is now a 5-3 game. Kirk and Desiree Saraki on the draw. As those two lock sticks. Flung back north side of the field, played off the hop. And Kirk on the draw control win. Back to Caitlin Henry coming across, and the Falcons will come out of the back. Connecting on some passes here with Pattingale. Falcons in this case beating themselves with that yellow card off the slash. And then Gil, you're able to get the attack going. Here's DeMayo. And DeMayo has Pattingale coming back her route. Instead goes to Paquin as Paquin move forward. Now the whistle is going to go against the Augies. 4:08 to go here in the first half. Lauren Paquin. Free position chance here for the Falcons. Looks to move and everybody converging for the Augies. Save made not once but twice by Gilliu. Couple of looks there for Paquin. Came in at 6 for 12 in free position chances. The Falcons as a team third at about 39% when they've been given a free position shot. Izzy Snow looking upfield and that deflects off the stick of Delaney Everett. Off the recovery, looking to move in. Everett takes a shot. Minanova able to bat it down. So a shot attempt by Delaney Everett. And the Falcons looking to counter with 3.5 to go here in the first half, up 5-3 in this semifinal. Falcons looking for revenge. Augie looking for an upset for a second consecutive Friday here at Fitting Field. Pattingale batted away from the backside. And there defensively for the Augies, you had Annika Hegrenes. Disrupted that connection with Pattingale. As players get situated, Cassandra Diaz out there as well, the sophomore. Pattingale over the top side. Paquin there, same thing with DeMayo. Batted away, redirected, and recovered by Paquin. Kennedy using the left shoulder. Hegrenes there defensively, and Gilliu again able to come up with a deflection. Gilliu, boy, she's quick on her feet. Great first step, and again, she's not afraid to take chances. All over the place in that field as opposed to just being a stationary goalkeeper and staying back between the pipes. Gilliu and DeMayo trying to dislodge. Gilliu now switching directions. No one coming back her direction to help out. Waiting back, Desiree Saraki, who now receives the pass. And Saraki able to elude two. Pressure on the backside by DeMayo, and just did clip Saraki with 2:15 to go here in the first half. 5-3, Falcons up by a couple. And at the feet. With good pressure on the backside for a win, but played by Woodman. Now near side, Ellie Woodman into the attacking end. Off that U-turn, we'll send it across to Paquin. And another whistle that again we'll see this one go back the route. All the moving pieces back on this defensive side for the Augies. In space back will be Diaz. And Paquin off the whistle. Henry looking to walk it in. Gilliu again with another Augie save. And she'll send it off the back of the netting before passing it right back to herself. You see DeMayo, who's been a pest back there for Concordia. Right now for the Augies, one of their obstacles has been just connecting on passes. Again, the clearance, something we talked about coming in. This team is dead last in the conference in that category. Well, trying to force their way through with 1:10 left here in this first half, and it's going to be taken away by Kirk. Paquin angles back in. Paquin knocked free on the backside by Jessica Husinkveld. Paquin with a goal in this game to extend her streak now to 12 consecutive games, which she has been able to score in. Falcons overcoming a couple of one-goal deficits. They've been up by as many as 3. Had a streak of 4 straight and off that finish moments ago by the Augies. And another great look up this right wing for Paquin that's stopped by Gilliu. Mentioned the Falcons last Friday went 0 for 5 in free position chances. Again, they'll see the Augies go 2 for 9. Well, a couple of restarts from the arc for Concordia, and Gilliu in the defense been able to stand strong. France. But it was Izzy Snow who was able to score the last for the Augies off a free position to end that streak of 4 straight by the Falcons. Saraki taking a couple of whacks at to try to regain possession with 21 seconds left here in this first half. Our first of 2 is we have Hamlin and Aurora coming up at 4 o'clock before a couple of championship games will come your way tomorrow. Falcons and Aurora on the men's side at 11 a.m. The women's championship match will take place at 2 p.m., both right back here at Fitting Field. Right now the ball in the pocket of the stick of Saraki. Desiree Saraki, playing her 18th game, has scored 14 goals to go along with those team best assist totals, 23. And Delaney Everett finding the cutter win, lifted up and over with 9 seconds left here in the first half. Could say the win, but that one was shot toward and into the win. That right now is at the backside of the Augies. You score another right before the break. A big goal scored by Demi Everett. And so the Augies able to end this first half with 3 seconds left with back-to-back goals after facing a 3-goal deficit, much like last Friday, a pesky bunch, as they continue to chip away at the deficit, and they're right back to within 1 at 5-4. A big goal here right before the break. So Demi Everett scoring her 20th of the season. She's had goals now in 7 consecutive games. She's also recorded 4 consecutive multi-goal performances. Kirk and Saraki on the draw. 3 seconds left till halftime. And the final second will tick off and halftime upon us in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. The top-seeded Concordia University of Wisconsin Falcons, defending back-to-back tournament champions, on top of the fourth-seeded Augsburg College Augies by a 5-4 score. Stay tuned. The second half will come your way next via the Falcon Athletic Network. 5-4, a one-goal lead for Concordia over Augsburg in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Take a look at how we got to this halftime score. It was the Augies scoring first. Izzy Snow with 26:39 left in the first half, unassisted. Falcons came back, would tie the game with 25:26 left in the first half. Caitlin Henry on a goal that was assisted by Emily Kuhlman. Helena Wynn then would set the program record for goals in a single season with her 41st of the campaign. That put the Augies back in front off that unassisted goal of 18:33 left in the half. Nicole DeMayo then came right back off a feed by way of Kristen Kennedy. Tied the game at 2 with 15:58 left in the half. It was a goal that would start a string of 4 straight scored by the Falcons, who would eventually open up a 3-goal lead at 5-2. Emily Kuhlman scored with 14:45 left. Kuhlman again with 12:19 left, assisted by Caitlin Henry. And then Lauren Paquin making it 5-2 with an unassisted goal with 9:16 left in the first half. The last goal scored by the Falcons in this game. Augies able to end the first half on a high with back-to-back goals. First, it was the Izzy Snow free position shot. Her second goal of the game came with 4:41 left, and then with 3 seconds left in the first half, it was Demi Everett from Izzy Snow, 5-4, our score here at the intermission. Note for the Falcons, a yellow card issued on the slash against Christina Pattengale. It came with 5:25 left in the first half. But listen to this stat. This is the one that mind boggles me and those that probably watch this game on a regular basis. You know, it's not uncommon to see somebody record upwards of 16, 17, 18, 19 saves in a game, let alone 17 saves in a half. And that's what Marissa Gilliu has been able to do. She had a season-best 18 saves the last time these teams met last Friday. 17 already after one half of play with 5 goals allowed in 30 minutes of action. Note that Veronica Medinova, in 30 minutes of play with 4 goals allowed, has 4 saves to her credit. Team-wide, shots are 26-11. Falcons are plus 15. And again, we saw that last week, too, where the Falcons were up in that category by a good margin. But again, having a tough time finishing, and Gilliu doing another fine job for a second straight Friday. Ground balls are at 18-12. Falcons are plus 6. Falcons have won 6 of 10 draw controls. Clears, Falcons are 9 of 11. Augsburg, 10 of 23. Augsburg 1 for 2 in free position chances. The Falcons are 0 for 6, which now makes them 0 for 11 in 2 games now against the Augies. Thus far, at least in 3 halves, on free position chances. And then turnovers, that's a stat that we've been keeping an eye on too, with too many so far against Augsburg, 19-11. They're plus 8 in turnovers after one half of play. So 5-4 our score here at the intermission. We will see what halftime adjustments are made. But for the Augies, they're trying to complete what was at one point a 3-goal deficit, trying to complete that comeback. Again, we saw them come back from down 4 late to eventually win in overtime in the regular season finale for Augsburg last Friday. As the Falcons come in, they've lost 2 straight for the first time since mid-April of 2015. The Augies come in, they've won 2 in a row, and they've won 7 of their previous 10. Winner gets either Aurora or Hamlin. That's the championship matchup. That will take place tomorrow at 2 o'clock. That semifinal comes your way at 4 o'clock here via the Falcon Athletic Network if you cannot be out here in Mequon in person. Those two have had some pretty good matchups the last now couple of meetings. Lower scoring affairs, as was the case when these teams met earlier this season. We'll see what this tournament meeting has in store, but first things first, trying to come up with a victor in this one. And boy, last week, both teams had 7 first-half goals. Both had 8 second-half goals. While so far we've seen a 5-4 defensive-minded game. Goalkeeping, again, Gilliu has been very impressive. And Medinova has made a couple of nice saves as well after one half of competition. Falcons trying to pick up a 12th win. They've already recorded their 4th consecutive 10-plus win season. Augies are trying to pull off the upset. Trying to pick up a 13th win, to reset the mark that they have already set with a program best 12th win coming last week. It would also mean it'd be the first time that the number 1 seed, if they can pull off the upset, will not win the tournament in now the 7-year existence of the tourney. It'd be the first time we also did not and do not see a 1-2 seeded matchup in the championship. But that's if they pull off the upset. Falcons right now hanging on to a 1-goal lead. Can they survive these next 30 minutes and get a revenge for what took place last Friday and get back on track and get back to that championship game for a third consecutive year. Kurek on the draw against Desiree Saraki for the Augies. And so as we get ready to get this second half started, got the two locking sticks. Off the whistle, we were underway here in the second half, and Kurek able to win the draw. Does a great job. It seems like almost every time she's in that face-off circle, to deflect it up in the air and fling it to herself, while the Falcons, who now will be attacking the north end of the field, Paquin coming back toward the ball. Does Henry? Those two will crisscross as Paquin gets the attack set up for Concordia. Beyond the reach of Caitlin Henry, but no pressure, no problem turning it around to scoop it back up for Concordia. And as she makes her lead feed, finds Paquin, sending right back out to Kennedy. Kennedy up high. Again, crisscrossing with Kurek in this case. Kennedy going back left wing. Kuhlman able to bring it down. She has a couple of goals and an assist so far after one half of play. Moves back to her left, passing back on the wing. Kennedy and the Falcons right now going into the wind. You can hear whipping in the background as Patton Gale going wide outside of that far post to the end line. And DeMayo and Kurek able to regain possession for the Falcons. Now turning it around to Rachel France, who's there for the Augies defensively on that markup. Kennedy looking for a cutter. In this case, he had DeMayo. Pass right back in this left wing. Kuhlman over that right shoulder. Able to fling it across over to Caitlin Henry. Henry taking a couple of steps forward before she will switch shoulders back to that left side. Over the middle, DeMayo got bumped. Ball knocked free. It's on the ground. And Henry able to regain possession for a moment and still does not have it cleanly. Paquin, though, does, and the Falcons go back on the attack. Nearly turning it over. Nice recovery. Nice spin move. DeMayo, low with a shot and a Falcon goal. So on that spin and finish, that is goal number 2 for Nicole DeMayo, who has now scored 26 times on the season. Boy, talk about impact players and freshmen that have come on and been impactful right from the get-go, and she has fit that category. Nicole DeMayo with what is her 7th multi-goal performance. She had scored in 9 consecutive games prior to Sunday, but she's been able to now again score 26 times, has added a total of 34 points on the campaign. She recorded 3 hat tricks and scored as many as 4 goals in a contest, which came back on April 1st in a 15-5 victory against Benedictine. Part of a stretch that would see the Falcons, at least in conference play, knock off Wartburg, Loris, Cornell, Monmouth, Benedictine, Aurora in less than ideal conditions of what was a beyond wet and rainy afternoon in Aurora. 5-4 Falcon squeaker. Beat Hamlin, Beloit, Illinois Tech in a 2-goal game. Took it to Concordia, Chicago before the conference loss to Augsburg, snapping the 28-game conference win streak. And a streak that they did all the way back to the loss against Carthage, no longer part of the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference, on April 22nd of 2014. 3 minutes gone by here in the second half. Falcons back up a couple at 6-4. Pattengale over the right shoulder. Looks left. Goes right. Kennedy. DeMayo beyond her stick. Back up though by Kuhlman. You had Pattengale in the picture as well. A little bit too high was the toss. We've seen, at least on this side, that ball is carried up and out of the pocket of the stick on both teams. They try to adjust to shooting into the wind that you can continue to hear whipping in the background. Beyond 20-25 miles per hour to the north-northeast. Pattengale behind Kennedy. Kuhlman, now a foot race. And Kuhlman able to regain control for the Falcons after he had your Sinkfeld nearly come up with it for the Augies, and now the Augies will try to come away with it. And you see, again, the aggressiveness of Gilliu. Just ridiculous save total after one half. As mentioned, she has 17 saves as of right now. And keeping this a close and competitive tournament semifinal. Again, it was Augsburg, though, that came out and they jumped in front 1-0 and 2-1 before the Falcons able to settle down, rattle off 4 consecutive. They've been playing with the lead ever since, but a lead that dwindled down to 1, it's back up to 2, and Gilliu has more than done her part for the Augies. Across the way right now for Augsburg. The obstacle right now is just trying to get clearance on top of possession, and your Sinkfeld was the intended recipient. Paquin is fouled. And the Falcons put it back into play. Caitlin Henry. Another whistle here coming against the Augies. As mentioned, this is a fourth-year program that finds its way back into the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference tournament for a second consecutive year. And this their second year as a member of the conference after going independent their first couple of seasons. But a program, too, as the ball picked up by Siraki, has only improved with every passing year. They went from 6 wins and a game below 500 in their first season to 7 wins and, again, a game below 500 their second year. But from 7 wins to 11 wins last year up to 12 now this year and counting. Some great pieces in place. And giving the top seed and defending tournament champions all they can handle. Snow back up high with Michaela Jones. No, credit to them, too. Again, we mentioned they, and rightfully so, should be coming in here with confidence after what they're able to accomplish a week back. And snapping the Falcons' 22-game home win streak, but also their 28-game conference win streak. Taking it in overtime for their first overtime victory in the program's 4-year existence. That was the first overtime game the Falcons have been involved in since mid to late April back in 2015. Siraki, so it went wide. It's going to go out of bounds. It will stay here with Wynn and the Augies. But also a team that came in. They were predicted 4th, although they finished tied for 4th, lost the tiebreaker to Aurora. Aurora beating Augsburg 10-7 earlier this season. And with Illinois Tech not eligible for the tournament, Augies able to back their way in. Otherwise, they would technically be on the outside looking as the number 5 team, if you will, by way of how the tiebreaker and the standings would have played out. But again, to their credit, playing some of their best lacrosse here in the right time. It's a low shot taken by Wynn, save made by Metanova. And trying to do all they can to extend their 2017 season. And again, a lot of these pieces are all going to be back, and this is going to be a team, regardless of what happens now, looking forward, assuming everybody plays comeback, going to be a team that's going to be a threat come next year as well. Henry, redirected again by Gilliu. Just 2 seniors on their active roster, although they lose a big Mitty and Rachel France, and then Desiree Siraki, we mentioned quite a bit. She's been their top assist getter. Across the way, the Falcons, they have a total of 3 that are of senior status that are trying to get back into that tournament championship game now for a 3rd consecutive year. Honored a couple of weeks back here at Fitting Field. Kennedy to Paquin. Falcons up 6-4. Nearly 8 minutes gone by. We're in the second half of this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Paquin finds an opening, and Gilliu again will bat it away. Paquin being watched by Delaney Everett. Good matchup there of a couple of first-teamers in the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference. DeMayo to Paquin. Again, she will back off, being watched by Delaney Everett. Coming across, errant pass. Recovery made by Caitlin Henry. Back beyond this north goal, DeMayo. Kirk right now being flanked by a couple of Augies. Henry over with Kuhlman. Another active performance so far for Kuhlman, looking to keep that rolling. Trying to use the pick that was set by Henry, who then gets open after the defense followed Kuhlman. Paquin looking for the cutter, that case Kennedy, but going to go the direction here as Gilliu comes up with it for the Augies. And she'll put it back into play. Well, for Marissa, too, when you look at her career, again, she's a third-year starter. Now, last year, the high-scoring affair at the Augies were involved in the semis against Aurora, then being a 22-16 Spartans victory. Gilliu, who had the experience here in tournament semifinal play, 12 saves, 22 goals allowed. Did your numbers improve? That goals against average. On the ground, who wants it? Off the scramble. Henry battling hard to the end line, and in doing so, knocked over Delaney Everett. But Gilliu, last year the goals against average, right around 10.89, almost 11. That goals against average is down to 9.10. The save percentage, though, is also down a little bit, too, down about 8%, but nonetheless, not to take anything away from the quality of goalkeeping that Marissa Gilliu is, she has gotten tons of goal support this year. And again, the offensive numbers are up as well. They've already scored, at least coming into this game, 10 more goals than they did all the last year. Although they're playing now their 18th game of this season after they played 18 all of 2016. We have an injury stoppage. And shook up right now for Augsburg is Delaney Everett. As mentioned, she's been able to come through 40 points back-to-back years, 53 points so far this season. Hope she's all right and able to continue for the Augies right now. A big blow as far as their attack goes. Delaney Everett coming in number one, tied at least number one on the team in goals scored. Coming in number 3 on the team in assists, number 1 in ground balls, number 1 in draw controls, number 2 as well in caused turnovers. And we often talk when broadcasting Falcon women's lacrosse action that Allison Couric is a stat stuffer and an all-around gifted athlete for the Falcons. You can make the same argument about Delaney Everett for the Augies and the impact she has on her program, her team's success every game. A jack of all trades. 20 minutes and 3 seconds. That's what's left here in this second half. The Falcons right now hanging on to a 2-goal lead at 6-4 in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Our first of two, Hamlin and Aurora up next. Woodman. Ellie Woodman will pass it back. Here's Pattengale. Nicole DeMayo with a couple of goals in this game, looking for a third, although, again, her path cut off. Kuhlman back out with Couric. Allison Couric back on this right wing, switches shoulders to the left. Couric on the pass back out. Caitlin Henry coming across up high to Kuhlman. Right back, Henry under her stick, has to go back after it and gets beat by Wynn. Able to scoop the ground ball for the Augies. Helena Wynn so far has been able to score a goal in this game. Wynn had to knock free, but Nova able to come up with it. Coming from behind that south goal for the Augies did Demi Everett. 18:55 to go. Paquin in a foot race. Puts the brakes on, lets one defender fly by. Goes back to her left, now spins, finds an opening. Goes higher with a shot and scores a goal. Goal number 2 for Paquin. And the Falcons up 7-4, back up by 3. 18:47 to go here in the first half. So Lauren Paquin, her 12th multi-goal performance. Again, last week when these teams met, she had a 5-point performance with 4 goals and an assist. Had the 11 shots, 7 of which were on target. That was a well-rounded game for the sophomore out of Waukesha West, in which she also had 3 ground balls, 5 draw controls, and 3 caused turnovers. But the Falcons back up 3 at 7-4. 18:47 left, half number 2. Falcons are up 5-2, saw that lead dwindle down to 5-4. We have Kurek, Saraki on the draw for their respective teams. Right now, the question is, will we see a return from Delaney Everett? Saw her leave the game but a couple of minutes ago of game action with injury. Actually, we've more than documented throughout the course of this game the importance that she is to this attack, although an Augies team that has seen, again, 14 players score goals, 8 with 10 or more. In all, they've had 16 players among the 17 on the roster that have recorded points at one point or another. So, number of capable finishers up and down this lineup. Right now, the focus goes back in the Augies defense, trying to offset another Falcon attack. Kuhlman looks back to her right, and will send it across to Paquin. 7-4 Falcons. 12 minutes into this second half, Pattengill lost the handle on it. Nelson back to the way for the Augies. Foul's going to go against Paquin. Restart here for Christina Nelson. Coming in, number 2 on the team in ground balls, number 2 in draw controls, but also number 1 in caused turnovers. And number 4 in the conference overall. She's been able to force 44 turnovers by the opposition. Call out her name a couple of times back on the defensive side for the Augies, along with your Sinkfeld as far as the defense goes. Now the Augies trying to respond. Trying to get their first here in this second half after coming into the half down 5-4. Right now, Katie Quilving is part of the attack. I believe Quilving is taking up the spot that was occupied by Delaney Everett. Wynn goes to this right side, coming across, trying to shovel pass it back. Had Hegrenes back there to go to off that shovel feed. But the Falcons, again, a little too aggressive in trying to disrupt that hookup. See a free position chance straight on for a win. With 16:52 to go here in the second half. Metanova coming up big. Rebound loose in front. Metanova reaches out with the stick and finds it. And sends it too high for Radenga. And a takeaway here for the Augies, but lost. Nelson lost their footing. Down she goes. Ball loose, and Radenga able to pick it up for Concordia. Then she throws it for free, and it's picked off, and just off the post wide right goes the attempt by Demi Everett. A couple of players down. Stick down. Everett down. And Izzy Snow will come over and check on Demi Everett. Well, we've already seen, and this was one of those where a couple players battling hard. Falcons able to go upfield after Radenga was able to take it away after Nelson hit the turf. But then Radenga threw it back toward the middle of the field up for grabs. It was a free-for-all in which the Augies were able to take advantage of. They've had some premature movement. We'll see this one done again with 16:26 to go here in the second half. And then Demi Everett hit the ground. Already seen Delaney Everett leave this game with injury. Demi shook up but able to now fight through. And off the pass, trying to find Snow. Everett was going that route. Looking for some daylight now as the shovel pass goes back the route of Wynn. Wasn't able to get that pass by way of Michaela Knutson. From beyond that south goal, it's Quilving. Knutson. And Knutson. Kuhlman, along with Worthing on the sandwich job for Concordia. You had Kuhlman on the backside. Worthing came over, slid over to help out, and she gets whistled for the foul. Now from the wing on the restart. That was knocked free. Fine job for the Falcon defense to crash in and take away that look for Knutson. Pattengale sends it downfield, up for grabs, and getting hit up in the head area for the Falcons. Did DeMayo. So the Falcons have possession with 15:35 to go. We're in the second half. It's a 7-4 game. DeMayo to her left, lost control of it. Tried to cut back in, but it was knocked free. It was a scoop up and a cause turnover for Annika Hegrenis as the Augies looking for the clearance. On the Falcon takeaway. Do note that it appears, let's see, Hegrenis is out there, but it also back onto the field of play as Delaney Everett. So that's a great sight to see if you're an Augies fan. She was shook up, maybe missed a couple minutes of game action, but able to fight through. And you better believe for a player like Everett, like a player such as Wynn, it's going to take a lot more to keep you out of a game like this, of this magnitude, as you try to continue to write the record books for the Augies program in their early years here in year number 4. An opportunity here holding their own and keeping with the top-seeded Falcons on their field in this tournament semifinal. Wadanga back to Kuhlman. And a jump shot by Rodanga. Note that Rachel France has been awarded a yellow card, that for the Augies. The reasoning for that last stoppage. So both teams with a yellow card in this game. Henry. And nice adjustment made by Rodanga. Back up high, we'll flip it over to Kuhlman. Kuhlman, across the middle, Henry. High with a shot, a Falcon goal off a tough angle and finish. It's a 4-goal Falcon lead. 2 defenders heal you there as well for the Augies, and Henry able to get the shot off and score her second of this game. It's her 12th multi-goal performance. She had 5 consecutive multi-goal games that was snapped on Sunday. And with that goal, the Falcons with a 4-goal advantage, forcing the Augies to take a timeout. 14:15 left in half number 2. And if you're the Augies, though, you're in this spot again just a week ago, down by 4, as many as 4, playing comeback by scoring the last 4 goals of that game and 6 of the last 7 to eventually win it by way of overtime. The Falcons keep doing what you're doing, though, because from a defensive standpoint, been able to keep the Augies off the board so far, more than halfway through this second half, while tacking on 3 goals of your own to up this lead to 4, the biggest of the contest. Falcons now with 3 multi-goal scores, make that 3 with Caitlin Henry, 4 in all with Emily Kuhlman, Nicole DeMayo, and Lauren Paquin. So 4 multi-goal scores, producing the 8 so far for the Falcons. Paquin with her 12th multi-goal performance, DeMayo with her 7th, Kuhlman with her 7th, and now Henry adding to her multi-goal performance. She has 12 of those. Does the now first team all-conference honoree. But a team best 39 goals. It's up from 26 a year ago. So 14-15 left in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Falcons want to get back into the championship for a 3rd consecutive year in this, their 5th straight and overall tournament appearance. Got the number 1 seed has won the tournament every year. We've talked about this in broadcast past when you look at this conference as a whole, and yes, there's a difference between the top half and the bottom half, but certainly, look, the last couple of years the Falcons have been able to dominate the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference. That gap has closed dramatically, where now you have, yes, the Falcons still going 10-1 in league play and bringing home a regular season conference championship, but number of teams in the top half of the conference standings especially able to play the Falcons awfully close, awfully tough, to within a goal or 2. We saw that with Illinois Tech within a couple, with Aurora, Augsburg coming here with an overtime victory. Making great strides and making the Falcons work a little bit harder here this time through. And nothing is automatic. And obviously, it's the old sports cliche and talking about got to play the game, see what happens, and you never know. But really, when you look at this tournament field, you don't. Maybe in years past it was the Falcons to lose, and it probably still is to some degree. But unlike years past where the Falcons last couple of years were able to win by 10-plus goals in their semis and championship and getting the running clock in motion, that is clear-cut this time through. That's a credit not only to the Falcons for continuing to play at that level and raise that bar, but to the opposition, too, for taking those steps and the progress they've been able to make in a short amount of time. Look at a team like this in just 4 years, now 2 years in this conference. They have been a regular now these last 2 years in this tournament. And then Aurora to get back here even despite some changes to their lineup. New goalkeeper. Their defense has been on throughout the year. And then Hamlin in their first year in the conference. What a job they've been able to do to finish second. At least be the number 2 seed here in the tournament, and they will be in action a little bit later on. It's a Hamlin team we saw here earlier this season play the Falcons awfully tough at Fort Concordia, much like in this game, put together a strong second half, showing to create some separation. That's a Hamlin team that came here too without some of their key components. They did not make the trip for a reason or another. 12:55 to go. Augies on the restart following the timeout a couple minutes back. 8-4 our score. Falcons lead. Delaney Everett launching it back. Yeah, Wynn back on his right wing. We're going to send it across. Recovery made by Everett. Looks back to our right side and finds Michaela Jones. Jones faking a couple of passes before launching it back. Francis back on the field picking up the yellow. Wynn coming across. Bounces off of Woodman. Off that push with 12:21 to go here in the second half. Wynn from this right wing. And from the arc, going to be a free position chance here for Helena Wynn. 13 for 33 in these opportunities. What a job by Medanova and the defense. You had Ariana Worthing sacrificing her body, diving toward that ball that Medanova comes up with for Concordia. And now Medanova downfield. You have Radenga for the Falcons looking for the clearance. With 12 minutes left here in this second half, passes it back to Pattengale. Back in this right wing. Mentioned that we've seen DeWald, who is listed as a defender, focus more on the attack in this contest. And no different right here. She is on this right side. That restraining line for the Falcons. As we have 11:38 to go here in this second half. The Falcons lead by an 8-4 score in this Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinal. Pattengale. Do that one again as she will take a couple of steps back before launching the ball back into play. You have the Mayo along with, let's see, for the Falcons, a different look beyond that north goal. They bring Elliot Novak out there, the senior. Playing her 10th game. And Gilliu, again, coming up big. Put together a season best for her saves in this contest. She had 17 by halftime. We're down to 11 minutes left here in this second half. Falcons +4. Trying to hang on. Trying to avenge last week's loss to the Augies. Trying to carry on the pressure that is being the number 1 seed and the success the number 1 seed has had in this tournament. With the tournament back here fitting Phil for a third consecutive year, trying to protect the home turf as well. Not easy for teams to come away from Fitting Field victorious, although the Augies, one of the few that can make that claim. Falcons 6-1 here at home this year after they went 10-0 here last year. 6-1 in 2015, and 8-2 was the home mark back in 2014. Only a few have done it, and most of non-conference status. Paquin. I'm going to adjust to the pass. It's going to pick up some speed and roll to this nearest sideline, but Henry, will get to it. as we were 2/3 of the way complete here in the second half. Henry, low with her attempt, and she scores another. Falcons up 5. So Caitlin Henry, with 9:54 to go, she picks up her 8th hat trick of the season. So hat trick number 8. She's had 3 5-goal performances, and the Falcons open up a 5-goal lead with 9:54 remaining here in this second half. So the Falcons have had 4 different multi-goal scorers. Henry now with the hat trick performance. And so far it's been a second half that has seen the Falcons outscore the Augies 4-0. So a good-looking finish here to up the advantage involving Caitlin Henry, who's had a couple of tough angles to shoot from and has been able to find ways to finish. Her second goal of this game, she had a couple defenders on her on top of trying to beat Gilliu and was able to do so. Kirk, another draw control win. That against Rachel France. Kuhlman, a couple of Augies on the backside, but she's able to find some spacing. Over on this left side, Falcons trying to bulldoze their way in. Pattengale low with a bouncer, and the Falcons go up 6. So after going up 5, Kirk able to win the draw. Kuhlman able to get it downfield, and then Pattengale is able to move in and finish low with a bouncer. Falcons up 10-4. We have 9:34 left here in half number 2 for Christina Pattengale. That is her 19th goal of the year. That's up 5 from a year ago. As mentioned, Falcons extended to have her back in that lineup. The sophomore missed a couple of games. Has been in that lineup now 3 straight since. She was lost for a pair. So the Falcons go 10-4 in this tournament semifinal. We'll see France and Kirk on the draw for their respective teams once again. Well, the Falcons, Rodenga, step behind, and now Snow, lead feed. Everett, that being Desira. Snow. Cutting across as Desira Saraki. Check that with Demi Everett. There's Saraki, though, in your picture. Shot taken by France, but an overturn to see that one go in. So a goal scored by Rachel France. 10-5 Falcons lead with 9:04 left in this second half. That's the first goal of the second half for the Augies. And the Falcons came out and scored the first 5. So a 5-goal game. And for Rachel France, that is her 26th of the season. Saraki will be credited with the assist that she picks up. Her 24th helper. Again, team best, 3rd best in the Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference. 5-goal game, still 9:04 to be played. Again, for the Augies, okay. Now trying to play comeback from a 5-goal deficit, although down by as many as 6. Came back from down 4 the other day here at Fitting Field. There's still time, but a lot needs to go your direction. You got to be able to not only win these draws, but get clearance, connect on passes, and not waste opportunities. Can't afford to. All job one done. You got the clearance off the draw, but then a bad pass off balance trying to find Snow is batted away, and the Falcons launch it downfield. Paquin, she angles in. Again, the Falcons will take up some time with 8.5 to go. Although Paquin spins and finds an opening on the attack, and it blocked. Down she goes to get back to her feet with 2:23 to go. And back to the way come the Augies. Gilliu putting it off the netting. Then a couple of times she'll just pass off the netting back to herself, allowing most players to retreat downfield. Launching it up that far side, and it's an errant pass that will find the Augie sideline instead. Another turnover. A little bit too high for a win to handle. Paquin. Get a different look for the Falcons. Now with Kirsten Sorella into the lineup. High shot taken. Gilliu on the save. Rodenga on the attempt. Comes with 7.5 to go. 10-5 our score. Falcons on top of the Augies. And for Concordia, we'll get an attempt here just to the right side of Gilliu. DeMayo from this side angle will play it beyond the north goal and launch it back out to Paquin. Before that can happen, another whistle taking place. As Paquin, and this time they will move Nelson behind the equation. Didn't see what she did, but the officials did, and the Falcons get the restart here with 7:08 to go. Certainly happened away from where the possession was. DeMayo asking for it, receiving it, does Paquin. Has Sorella to her right. Sorella will come across and pass it back to Kuhlman. Falcons trying to hang on to a 5-goal lead with 6:40 to work with. Kuhlman trying to add to that advantage. A little bit high as it flew up over the crossbar and out of play. Paquin and the Falcons will keep it. Paquin looking back, will flip it back. Kennedy into traffic. Oh, Rodenga a little bit high with her shot. And a decent look. Trying to add her to her goal total. She has 2 goals on the year, but none since scoring goals in back-to-back games on the 18th and 19th of March against Ortberg and Loris. A couple of games the Falcons won by a combined 34-4 score. They try to get back on track after they began the year 1-3, and then came back home to open up conference play with back-to-back wins there to get things going for, again, a Falcon team that has so far gone 11-6 on the campaign, but bringing home a piece of their 3rd consecutive regular season conference championship. 5:38 to go. Falcons up 10-5. DeMayo on the pass. Sorella. And before she can pass it back, got a push off that may go against Kirk, trying to create some spacing. Right now, Kirk trying to get clarification. But again, it happened away from where the possession was, which was on this near side. And it results in the Augies taking over with 5 minutes remaining. Trying to connect on some passes, and here's Sinkfeld going right back to Gilliu, and then going back. Here's Sinkfeld's direction, but it was off her stick. Gets back up. And the Augies walking a fine line back along that far west sideline. Just trying to get upfield, trying to connect on these passes, trying to get clearance after, again, that was an issue in the first half. We mentioned the numbers at the break. Nelson on the attacking end. Michaela Knutson. Able to recover. Woodman right there defensively. Nelson. And from behind the south goal, oncoming for the Falcons is Pattengale. To the far side goes Annika Hegrenes. As mentioned, back out there with Delaney Everett. Rachel France. Blocked Menanova. France is one of the goals for the Augies in this game. 2 for Snow. 1 for Demi Everett and the other for Wynn. And her team leading 41st. That also a program best for goals in a single season. Here's Delaney Everett, who has 40 goals, was tied for the program record. After Delaney Everett was able to come through and had a 3-goal performance. Had a couple of big hat-trick performances. Bad pass there, though. On the ground, France trying to split a pair. Which we were against the Falcons. The Augies quickly putting it back into play off the self-restart. And before the attempt for Nelson. Whistle here against Concordia with 3:02 remaining. Falcons 10, Augsburg 5. And our first of 2 Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament semifinals. Our second game will come your way at 4 o'clock. The Hamlin Pipers and the Aurora University Spartans. Nelson from his right wing. 0 for 4 on free position chances. Not any longer. She's now 1 of 5. Been at least a couple of free position goals for the Augies. That makes it 10-6 with 2:59 to go. For Christina Nelson, that is her 6th goal of the year. She has now scored goals in 3 straight games and 4 out of the previous 5. So 10-6 Falcons plus 4 with 2:59 remaining here in regulation. And she becomes now the 5th Augie to score. And now an important draw. See what the Augies putting on the circle. It looks like Michaela Knudsen. And it will be. So into the face-off circle goes Knudsen. Locking sticks on this draw with Kirk. And it's a draw that's going to be sent to the Falcons sideline after Pattengale got a stick on it. So a different look on that draw for the Augies after we had seen Rachel France take the bulk of the draws, but it's Knudsen on that latest in the Falcons. Will have control with 2.5 to go. Paquin on the pass, trying to go to DeMayo. Nelson applying the defensive pressure with 2:23 to go. Another stoppage here in play. Seen our fair share of stoppages throughout the course of this semifinal. What has been at times a grinded out defensive battle. Number of turnovers against the Augies early after they had taken a 1-0 and then a 2-1 advantage. The Falcons to make the most of their opportunities. Gilu coming through with a 17-save first-half performance with the Falcons. Were able to score at 1.4 straight to take a 5-2 lead. Never looking back. Lead dwindled down to 1 at halftime at 5-4. Falcons came right out and scored the first 5 goals here in the second half to build lead up to 6. And now they're up by 4 at 10-6 with 1:50 remaining here in half number 2. Caitlin Henry with a hat-trick performance among the top goal getters. We have another foul here against the Augies. Looks like Paquin, the Falcon that is shook up. She has a 2-goal performance. Same thing with DeMayo. Coolman with a couple of goals and an assist. And then Pattengale has been able to score as well, her 19th of this season. Pattengale had a goal with 7 shots, all of which were on target last week against Augsburg. So Kirk will start off with control here for the Falcons. They will try to work it around with 1:40 remaining here in the second half. Launches it across. Sorella, the closest Falcon. That's simply a turnover. Desiree Saraki for Augsburg. with 90 seconds left. Launching it downfield, nice completion. Lead feed over, shooting Demi Everett. Manova, though, ran the ball, trying to recover, and then having her stick trapped under the body of Everett. Manova came out the plate and bounced away, allowing the Augies some excitement. And then Manova had her stick trapped. And to start, we will see the Augies restart over here with Medinova out of positioning as she came out to play that ball. Demi Everett. And they're going to move Medinova back behind this equation after, again, she came over and tried to force her way to regaining control. I think right now the coaching staff trying to figure out what the call is. After Medinova was the one that got knocked down, then had her stick sat on by Everett, who had hit the ground. Everett will pass it over to the right side. Some great speed. Medinova comes over, gets back in a position, and makes a great save. That's incredible. Denying Michaela Knudsen what should have been a for sure goal, with Medinova still scrambling back into positioning. 64 seconds left. Falcons up 10-6. Medinova from behind. Oncoming, you had Knudsen from that far side, whistling speed with the energy, came flying in, went to take a shot. Medinova came sliding the cross, was able to keep Knudsen off the board. And now Paquin with 50 seconds left. Falcons up 10-6. That's a big-time save. And then Paquin taking a hard hit from Siraki. That's an easy yellow card to hand out. Going high with the attempt did Siraki. And with 39 seconds left, we're now seeing 3 yellow cards, 2 against the Augies. Both of their yellows have come here in this second half. Falcons have outscored Augsburg 5-2 here in these final 30 minutes. And now just running around the field with 30 seconds to go. Woodman, upfield, nice completion. Everybody getting involved here, just trying to connect on pass. That was under the stick of Pattengale, allowing the grounder to be controlled by the Augies and then batted away by Rodenga. Augsburg picked off Ariana Worthing. And she lost possession for a moment. That's because she was fouled with 9 seconds to go. The Falcons are about to win this one and find their way back into the tournament championship game for a 3rd consecutive year with an opportunity to defend that title and win it for a 3rd straight May. So the Falcons avenge the upset that the Augies presented last week. Falcons take it by the final score of 10-6. 5-2 against the scoring differential in that second half, as the Falcons up their record to 12-6, snapping their 2-game skid. Augsburg's season coming to a close in the semis for a 2nd straight year at 12-6, with their 2-game winning streak over, and the Falcons now await the winner of Hamlin and Aurora in a game that will come your way coming up at approximately 4 o'clock. Lauren Paquin able to score twice, Nicole DeMeo twice, 2 goals for Emily Kuhlman, a hat trick for Caitlin Henry, her 8th of the year, and a goal by Christina Pattengale, the scoring for the Falcons. Augsburg getting a goal from Christina Nelson, a couple of goals by Izzy Snow. Demi Everett able to score once, Rachel France able to score once, and then Helena Wynn becoming the program record holder for goals in a single season with her 41st of the season. Earlier in this game, the goal scorers for Augsburg. Again, the final score, the Falcons victorious by the final of 10-6. Stay tuned, coming up at 4 o'clock here via the Falcon Athletic Network. We have semifinal number 2 between Hamlin and Aurora. You've been watching coverage of the 2017 Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference Tournament on the Falcon Athletic Network.